Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we have a list of all the upcoming VR games for July of 2023. Unfortunately, it's looking like a bit of a slow month, but there are at least 2 awesome games releasing, and you never know if any of these other titles are a sleeper hit. We also seem to get some stealth drops every single month, so try not to lose faith in VR this July. It's also the start of the summer, so it might be a bit too hot to VR game. And that makes me curious, do you guys stop VR gaming in the summer months? Please let me know in the comments right now. But if you're not planning to take a break, let's get into July's new games. There are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead. But first, this video is sponsored by VR Rock. VR Rock makes prescription lens inserts for all of your favorite VR headsets, and now they have them for the PlayStation VR 2. So if you've been struggling to get your eyeglasses to fit inside the headset, or you're afraid you might scratch the lens, these can be a great option. They magnetically connect, so they're easy to put on and take right back off. And if you're interested, I have a 10% discount code down in the description and a link to their webpage. Okay, so as normal, all of this information has been provided by Meta, Steam's database, and various development studios, but dates are always subject to change, and many of today's Quest titles' release dates have not been publicly announced, so I won't be able to specify them. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's start off with our first game, Synapse. I already have a full review up for this PlayStation VR2 exclusive roguelike shooter, and I absolutely love the title. Synapse has you invading someone's mind to extract information, and that plays out as a firefight in exotic locations, filled with almost cult-like creatures, and you gaining some telekinetic abilities. The gameplay mechanics and overall action are what sell this title, and this is easily one of the best games available on the PlayStation VR2. So even though I said July was a slow month, it's off to a pretty good start. Now, if you're a fan of Rocket League or Ultimax, you'll most likely want to check out our next game, Spaceball. Spaceball has you hopping across the arena for 3 separate gameplay modes, playable in 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3. Now, those gameplay modes include soccer, handball, and basketball, but it looks like it's just moving the net and not making too many additional changes. I'm not sure just yet why you would pick this title over something like Knock or Ultimax, but it all comes down to the gameplay, and we'll just have to wait and see how good this game really is. And speaking of seeing just how good a game is, Dyschronia Chronos Alternate is set to release episode 3 this month. Set in this ultra wacky utopian future world where everyone's minds are linked together and crimes such as murder should not be possible, you've actually been given the task of investigating a non-accidental death. The storyline and gameplay elements just get wackier as this title goes on, and we'll just have to wait and see how far they take it in episode 3. If you're interested in interactive VR stories, definitely put Dyschronia on your list. You'll take on the role of either Ghost or Ghost Hunter, and then battle it out in a 1v1 round for survival. Now, we really haven't seen any of the gameplay just yet, so I really don't know what to expect with this title, but I think I know exactly what we're gonna get from our next shooter, Operation Wolf Returns First Mission. Back when I was a young lad in the 1980s, I went to arcades to play games like this. Well, now, almost 40 years later, someone decided it's time to revitalize this game. I'm expecting a ton of over-the-top arcadey shooter action, and while it could be an extremely fun and great distraction, it's not exactly what I'm looking for from my VR games. Operation Wolf was a cult classic back in the day, so I do hope they do this title justice, and who knows though, it could be one of those surprise hits. Now, if you're a fan of tower defense games, we have Battle Bows. Playable in both single player and co-op, you'll be defending your castle against evil balloons and giant bosses. I personally love a good tower defense title, and being able to enjoy one with a buddy is a nice cherry on top, but this title looks like it might be a little bit too casual for me. I need more than just a leaderboard to keep coming back for more and more. And that's why I'm happy to see that Yupitergrad 2 is also releasing this month. Now, I love the original title, which was basically like a Spider-Man parkour puzzle title set on a quirky Russian space station. And now, not only will we get more of that gameplay, but they've also upped the action with a bit of combat. Now, if you haven't played the original title, don't sweat it. Yupitergrad 2 is made so you could jump right into this one. Now, that about covers all our PlayStation VR and Quest releases, but we do have 6 more PCVR titles to go over. First up is the spacefaring sci-fi shooter Nomad Station, which puts you in the shoes of an MI6 agent that has to take back a lunar space station that's been seized by enemy forces. Deadly Force has been authorized, and you're free to use anything at your disposal. While the game does look a bit generic, I do see a lot of promise here, and I'm really curious to check this one out. Now, the next game is for anyone interested in a good old-fashioned B&E with a bunch of their friends. The Break-In is a 4-person co-op theft title that's reminding me a lot of Thief Simulator. The gameplay dynamics will definitely change though when you throw 4 people into the mix, and it seems to play like a hilarious version of Phasmophobia. So I'm definitely sold on this one and will have to give it a try. Now, a game I have tried and I recommend that everyone else does so is T for God. This title has been around for years and just got more and more impressive over time. It features non-Euclidean geometry, which takes room scale movement to the next level. Basically, you could just keep walking forever, as the game's environments overlap upon themselves. It's an amazing feature that sets this title apart, but there's also a great roguelike shooter to experience along the way. Now, this is a bit hard to explain, so I recommend you go check out the game's demo right now. And while we're going over unique titles, we have to mention Phantom Matrix. This is a theatrical, physics-based stealth puzzle game. If that clump of words meant nothing to you, well then we are in the same club. I'm not sure what makes it theatrical, how physics play into the puzzles, or what exactly is going on in this trailer. Now, this title also has a free demo available, so I'll go ahead and figure out what this game is all about. Now, if you've been looking for more survival titles in VR, we have Premortal. This is a medieval-themed game, which has you exploring a procedurally generated wilderness, hunting animals, gathering resources, and crafting new gear. Now, while the game's artwork shows dragons and knights, the trailer itself looks a lot more grounded. I'm definitely unsure about this game, but once again, we have a demo to check out, so we could figure out if this one's right for us. And our final title, Danger Close VR, is for the military sim fans. You'll be engaging in naval, air, and ground combat by taking control of a wide array of different vehicles. Now, this title is releasing in early access, so at the start, these vehicles will only have limited functionality, and the game will become more and more sim-like as time goes on. There's a large number of objective-based combat missions to go on, and after thoroughly enjoying VTOL, I'm really curious to see how good the gameplay is, and how this game develops into the future. And that right there was July's list of games. I want to hear down in the comments right now how you feel about these releases. Were you disappointed? What title sounds the most exciting? And what's the #1 game you're still waiting for in 2023?
And that was today's video, brought to you by my dad, Mateo311. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here,
Consider subscribing.
consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing. We'll see you guys on next time.
We'll see you guys on next time.